Welcome, gamers. This is Julius Hallengren, and welcome Behind the Tag. My guest star today is.
Hi, I'm David Hernandez. I'm known as Now at a 5K. I'm also known as MoFo and perhaps even Right to 200.
How'd you come up with all those different naked gamer tags?
MoFo was the one that I came up first. The reason I came up, there was a Smash player goes by MoFo. I would see some of his clips on YouTube. Very, very, very entertaining. Really, really great fox. I wanted to have that type of. I like the name, and then I mean the short for MoFo. Right. So I put that in. I took that into for DDR for ITG. I took that in, and overall, it just stuck with me. People would just call me that when we would meet up with friends. They would just say, "Hey, Mofo, what's going on?" And that took in as like another name, another image of mine that I knew the people that knew me from ITG or that hung around during that little period of time. They would just address me as that. I mean, you can call it like a nickname too, something that it's not just a gamer tag to me. And if I wanted to add, Mofo means a lot, especially for my early 20s, my teens into my 20s. I was growing up, getting out of bad scenery. Speaking of ITG in 2007, I've always been interested in that type of game. I've always been interested in playing dancing games. Always interested in that type of rhythm and arrows, and watching people on YouTube play. I wanted to attempt it. And I was serious about wanting to learn. The first way you learn is just go and embarrass yourself. We all start from somewhere. But go in and play at the arcade. You make a lot of misses. If you look silly, later as you progress, you'll pick it up. And that's the mentality I had. And the people that I first met, were very supportive. Like as I mentioned at that time and as my teens, I haven't quite yet developed to have that strong confidence. So I do admit I needed some support, some mental support, and definitely the people that have started out with me will probably address me mofo. Maybe I would say maybe into the future going on. The people that I started up, I've known them for over 10 years, and they still address me as mofo, even with the changes of Naoda, Right to 200. No, they perhaps just call me mofo. They call me David here and there, or if it's more of a serious matter or anything, they would address me as David. But more often, that's the nickname that they stuck by. Those are the nick. We all had our nicknames there, and even to this day, I myself will go and address a friend of mine. I will address them by their nickname, um, and so no, those people are gonna end up just perhaps calling me mofo until they just decide not to anymore. Now the 5K right now is my current tag. I've certainly had, I know Sylvia still remembers me as mofo. And certainly everyone from the ITG community in Disneyland and Norwalk and Keystone Lanes, and even at Howie's, I think they still recognize me as mofo a bit. I don't think by Howie's. I think by Howie's they probably don't recognize anything. They probably just recognize me as David, um, because by that point, it was mostly Seth and Miguel and Sheldon. So I just dropped some names there, but those guys definitely were the people that were I hung around the most, and then I will bring some of my other friends around as well. If Alex Mosier hears about it, he was one of those influential in the sense that when I would play, and he would arrive, he was a person that was up and coming, and in a sense, I felt I was also up and coming because there's no way you can just stop learning how to play TG. There's always new things. That was in the 2010, 2011, so certain greater things were yet to come. That was great. Now the 5K is the current tag I go. Pokemon Go for the PvP people. Sure, certainly the people in the PvP community, they know me as now the 5K. That's definitely my biggest niche of the PvP scene or the player by player scene. I think there's plenty of games that aside from Pokemon Go that I can perhaps talk for hours. I think in a groove in DDR ITG, they're probably the ones that have transitioned my life the most. I think Pokemon Go has been the most the most recent one and the one that I'm currently having a hobby, my fiance and I. So it's been great for both of us. Maybe chess too, because chess is something I still have continue to play. I think actually with the lockdown, it is brought it up to an even bigger audience now. The online chess has been booming, looking into an esports. Um, it's been pretty good. Aside from other games, I mean, the typical League of Legends. I really haven't played much Smite, but maybe StarCraft, Halo Wars,
Ooh.
no, Assassin's Creed. Those are the type of games that you're everyone has their experience. Those are games that you just play by yourself and expand and explore. Maybe your horror games
Yeah.
too. I haven't streamed yet. Honestly, perhaps I wanted to stream 4 or 5 years ago, but I didn't. Maybe I was just nervous. You know, I was a younger me for sure. Maybe the current me might be able to too direct, and there's a lot of copyright issues and even censoring issues. You gotta watch out what you say too. Nah, it probably doesn't fit me. However, I love the scenery of interacting with other people. I think that makes games the greatest is when you're seeing other people and their devotion and their fun with playing that game. Pokemon Go and ITG are the best examples of that. Just the community of those two games, and it can quickly shift how you just go about your days. You can go from saying, "Oh, you're not doing anything," you can actually plan to do something. You meet new people. You find out, "Oh, this person is certain like this," and you never know. And they might end up, you might end up meeting, certain people that afterwards, when I do decide to get married, I might say, you know what, I want to invite them to my wedding. um, it's great. It's great. It's very great. Yeah.
Nice.
When I started out, let's see. So I started out, as I mentioned I started out at Golf and Stuff in 2007. So started off right at the bottom. There was plenty of players there that were there playing, supporting. That period of time was very, very calm. I had just started working at Golf and Stuff myself. I was working as an indie go-kart. The people that were there, there were some competitions that they would have sometimes. Who had the best FA? Who was this? Who wanted to post some popular YouTube video for ITG, and then everything about streams. Um, and some of those competitions they get a little dicey. They get a little competitive, but it was always fun. There's some people that I met there. They had their high school drama. They had their high school drama. The thing is, when we're 18, 19 years old, some of those people, they're still into attracting to the girls that come into ITG, and things occur. I mean, she likes him and he likes her, and things happen. I've learned that stuff like that, it's kind of like a business. What does it mean? That it's okay to feel attracted, to go here and here, but understand if things were to go bad, it's just a dimension of people. It can split people. So not to mention any names, but there was certainly quite a bit of controversy with people wanting to come to play, and they would see the person they had some type of interaction like that with, and things would go kind of sour, and then that will bring in the atmosphere for the rest of the people that are coming in to play kind of bad. Times that I remember golf and stuff, and then later on venturing into Keystone, uh, that would occur, but not to leave their business alone. For the most part, I was fine. I was fine. There was an incident at Keystone that there's this drunk person. So sometimes at Keystone, there's what you call cosmic bowling, probably like from 8 p.m. to midnight. And so people could liquor up sometimes. They go on their bowling and they play. And inside the arcade right there, there's an ITG machine, a Dedicat. And people will come in, players, I'll mention these players like Irvin, so Hip Hopnotic, Chris, who was still calling himself Special K, Johnny, he was still Jedi. Those are the three people that I will see the most there. Roberto, Dustin will come in. Dustin, he still goes by Aldane. He's really good photographer. And they would come in and they would play. This guy, some drunk guy sometime came in. He had his own beer like this, and was saying, "Oh, you guys are so good. I want to give you some money for you guys to play." he gave us like a $5 bill. Now, I mean, you can't put a $5 bill into a debit cap, and so I think it was me who took his $5. Said, okay, fine, and I changed it. So I got 20 quarters, I think. Um, 20 quarters. I was gonna use them, and he got mad. He said, "No, I wanted you to use my $5 bill." Um, so I didn't understand his logic, but I just put 2 quarters in, ready to play, and he grabs his beer bottle and just slashes it into the monitor like that. So he throws it like this, right? And so you have this beer coming in like that, and I wanted to. Now I got a little mad myself because it was my turn to play. I'm a bit warmed up. I'm ready to play a really good session. I wanted to say some choice words, and apparently the security guard came right before anything occurred and say, "Hey, what did you do? What did you do? Why did you do that?" And he just took it onto the security guard. So they just got onto it, right? And the security guard did his best. He didn't look like he wanted to fight, but he did look like he wanted to pin them down. But the other guy was just not going to have it. He went through a fit. He tried to swing. All of his swings failed. And actually, the last swing that settled things down is that I guess he tried to swing and he missed and he tripped. But as he did, I guess he was coming in. His elbow hit the ground and he hit himself right here in the chin. So he gushed himself. And as I mentioned, he threw the bottle over there, so there was glass there as well. We had some kids because there's an air hockey table next to the ITG data cup onto the right side. So there's some glass shards flying in like that, and the little kids were just standing there. I'm sure I remember hearing one kid say, "Hey, look, there's glass shards," and they were gonna go reach and touch it if it wasn't for their dad that just yanked them out and say, don't touch that." So that was quite something. It ended our night for sure. I don't think we were able to play much after that. We just decided to go to Denny's, and that was that. A majority of the time for Keystone, we had a routine. Fridays and Saturdays usually were the days that we would play right after when I get out of work or when people come. We would just meet up there. We would meet up there. The guys that I mentioned before, other people will come in later on too. I'll give a quick shout out to Desmond and Stacy. They were newer people that would come in that also would go up. After that, we would go to Denny's. So at 2 a.m. it will close, and we just go to Denny's, eat, kind of relax. We will probably leave like around 5 a.m. And from 5 a.m. we'll go home. Most of the times I would pay for all of their meals, right? So say I buy like $8 nachos, and they're like, "Oh yeah, let me buy this, let me buy this." The bill's like $70-$80, and then the tip, "Oh no, I got it." I would go and say, "Oh, I got it. I can pay it all." There I am thinking, it's not too bad. And then the month comes in, and my mom and dad go, "Well, you need to pay rent." "Well, where's all your money?" And I'm looking, we don't have the app, the bank apps yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, well, I don't know. I didn't spend. Oh, I know. And so my dad will go and say, "If you continue to do that, I'm not going to lend you the car anymore. You can go walk it to work." And so I would tell my friends, I can't do it no more. But then I would sucker up next paycheck I would get from golf and stuff. And they would say, "Oh, I don't have much money, but I'm hungry." "Okay, fine, I'll buy you." And the same process will happen again, and until eventually my dad would just yank the car away from me. And I had the audacity to tell my dad, "Oh, you're being unfair." Looking at it now, I was such a kid. But yeah, I would pay for most of their stuff. But it's my fault. I mean, I chose to. I have a rule when I take people out. To this day, I don't ask them for any gas. I don't ask them really to pay much. I do ask because I take it as, if you're accepting me, I'm the one inviting you, and I can go on my own, but you're willing to come with me. So to me, you don't have to pay anything because I was the one that asked you, that invited you.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, just help me pay. If you decide to buy food, perhaps help me on a tip, or help me what you're paying, and I got everything else. And or if they decide to buy any souvenirs, but that's a rule I still have to this day. Usually when I take people anywhere at that time to taking them to play ITG, I don't really ask for any gas money or anything. In fact, I just encourage them to just come in and hang out, have a great time, and learn. I certainly was. I don't think that's a great mindset now because I mean now I'm transitioning into becoming a husband, and I know, and having our own home. Um, you can't just be spending your money willy nilly. For certainly at the time when you're a kid, yeah. Well, I mean,
Oh,
you're mature of life, and so you think you have enough to spend for your friends. You want to be the nice person, only to realize afterwards, that was really foolish of you. But well, things were like this. Oh yes, I was the type of friend. I really didn't get too much problems, but I guess I was a bit biased. Some of those dramas that occur, I would admit there was some times that I biasly chose sides without really comprehending the context, and to better extent, not be a part of it at all because it didn't concern me personally. It only concerned me because my friend was there. Let your friends be adults and take care of that situation themselves. But I'm glad those things occur because it will shape up later on the type of mentality and the type of person I will grow up to be. I mentioned before that I wasn't exactly hanging with a nice crowd, right? I wasn't your typical gamer. I wasn't your typical, oh, I just love video games just like that. More often or not, I wasn't. I'm not gonna say I was doing bad things on the street, but then again, I think I was in regard to looking for fights or looking for, try to find myself for. That's not a good mentality to have as a kid, and you're transitioning to video games. MoFo came in. This little thing would change me dramatically. I'll tell you because I found you can say a second family with the people that I would meet. We would venture off after Keystone. We would venture off to other places. We would venture off to Mission Viejo. And after that, we would venture off to what was the city of Walnut for a super arcade. The competitions we would have, not just in California, but the competitions that I've been to two of them out of state. I've been to one in Las Vegas and one in Dallas, Texas. Um, the people there that we're meeting, it it's such a I don't want to say majestic, but it's a really amazing feeling. You see these people, and they're very similar to you. Um, Mofo will be the staple into what eventually, as I took other games, I never stopped cherishing.
thank you, gamers, for joining us for this conversation. If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe so you can see more of this interview and others like it. Have a good one, you guys.